So this year we've kind of did a combination of some videos showing us testing the tools in our own shop, and we have brought some things that we could obviously travel with to share with you guys. So the first product we have is actually, we have it here. It's a dash protector. This product was actually designed for tinting, and it fits underneath. It fits really nice and snug underneath the glass in between the dash and the glass there. It's soft, and you know, so many of the cars now have these big information panels or glass panels or whatnot, and it really has a nice coverage. What's cool about it is it's actually from a small company that has basically like an Instagram store. It's $124, and we're using it quite a bit anytime the doors are off or whatnot on that nice leather or the soft suede or whatnot, and it fits. You can tie it off to the side. Really good value. Definitely, I think, something we would recommend. We actually have a special opportunity here. We've actually suggested KECO tools before. They've been a tool in our presentation. Toby and Kai, their dent pulling equipment. This year they came out with a sanding block set. Michael actually demoed this tool.
These sanding blocks, the neat thing about them is they're various sizes, and they can basically allow you to apply pressure very finely in the areas that you need to. They made them in a ton of different sizes, and they work really great for various operations that, depending on what point you're going to be sanding and blocking, or you know, the size or surface area that you're going to be sanding and blocking. We found that they work really good, and it's a great alternative to the conventional sanding blocks that have been around in the industry for the last 30 years.
The next product we have is a detail cart. This is actually a really cool product. It's a creeper called. The top comes off, giving you basically a product that you can sit on, get down to really detail underneath the rocker panels, whatnot. I think that still should go on that. Yeah, that's the pad that goes on it. And I actually had this when we set it up in my office, and not one technician that came in didn't want to touch it, feel it, sit on it, like, oh, this is cool. Is this staying here? Are we going to get to use this? It has an assortment of product compartments. It has a little shelf in the middle. So, and the price point is $129. When I ordered it, I got it in about 4 days. So I have to say, definitely a product well made. It's pretty sturdy. I think it would last years, or it will last us years. So definitely another recommended product.
This is actually something we were already using in our shop. It was something that was on the list, and when we talked about it, I discussed that we've been using this for probably about a year and a half or so. It's a quick cure UV putty. It's great for if you have small gouges, or more commonly rock chips, right? You know, if there are rock chips in the front edges of blend panels, this stuff works great. You feel it. You see right here, they're actually applying the material. They hit it with the UV lamp. I think in 30 seconds to a minute, it's completely cured, and it's sandable at that point. And what we don't see with this, that you see with the more traditional combi putties in the industry, is the shrink back. The UV cure really eliminates the shrink back effect, and it's been a really great product. Like I said, we've been using for at least a year and a half without any issues. So it's definitely something we would recommend. This is a sunroof drain cleaner from Wieländer+Schill, and it works really similar to a you know, a drain snake or something to that effect. But essentially, you pull out, feed it into the sunroof drain, and then it's got that collar that you lock. And then once you lock the collar, it'll spin the head of the assembly and clean out whatever materials are in the sunroof drain. So it's a pretty neat product. And you know, clogged sunroof drains, are a really common problem within the industry. You get a lot of water leaks and things like that from those, so this is a really neat tool to be able to quickly clean those out. This next tool is actually another unit that we've purchased and used personally in our shop. This footage was filmed at our facility. The really revolutionary thing about the Tru-Point is it's taken a ton of the manual measurement out of the process of setting up the ADAS targets for various manufacturers. It can take a process that typically 30, 45 minutes to an hour just to set up the targets and cut that down to 10 or 15 minutes once the the machine is utilized properly and you're familiar with it. The other neat thing about it is it will compensate for levelness or unlevelness of the floor, which is something that really no other manufacturer is doing at this point. It's a brand new machine. There have been a couple hiccups here and there, but again, it's continuing to improve, and Snap-on is putting a ton of resources in the development of this product. And I think the more feedback they get, the more users that are on it, it's just going to become that much better.
Michael, make a comment later on that.
Yes, sir.
I was just going to say, I've seen it around, but I love hearing your perspective, the compensating for being unlevel, and you can attest that really
Yeah,
is working in practice.
we tried it in several different areas. We actually built a calibration area probably about 6 or 8 months ago. Floors are perfectly level there, but we actually tried it in some areas of the shop where the levelness wasn't 100%, and it did what it was supposed to. And we checked it against the report on the level floor, and it all was right where it should have been.
That's awesome news. Thank you.
I was going to say, I know I was going to ask you, we've actually purchased it too, and one of the nice things is it has an array of packages, so you can kind of customize it to fit your shop
Right.
mix of cars, which is nice. But I was going to actually ask you a question. I was told that it has a pre-alignment capability, right? Because it,
Right, yeah,
so for like, I don't have the space for an alignment rack, so.
right. Yeah, so it is checking just toe and camber when you set up to do a pre-alignment, and if your suspension alignment's out of spec, it'll tell you that. It won't let you move forward with the calibration. So that's also a really neat aspect about it. And the other thing, we've looked at a ton of tools, ton of calibration systems through a ton of varying manufacturers, even some of the OEM targets. The targets in this system, the makeup of them, they're very rigid, they're very sturdy. I mean, in my opinion, that they're the best targets in the system, and it comes with a really nice cart to keep everything organized. So it's a really cool setup.
So this product is Easy Spare, Easy Roller. When we did the presentation, I was going to actually check this morning. The product hadn't been released, but we've bought products from them before, and we did see this at SEMA. It basically allows, when the suspension is damaged, you to make the wheel movable, right, without having to like weld or weld control arms or tie rods or anything. It fits pretty much any lug nut setup. And they have, I think, 2,000 pounds per wheel capacity. This one allows it to spin either way, which allows you to move it with bent or damaged suspension. The traditional one didn't have that capacity, but had all the other features, and just very well made, but unbelievable. Like, we thought that there's no way this is going to hold this car up, and it did without hesitation. So. Again, just a phenomenal, I think, company with a good product worth highlighting here.
So this was one that Kai actually tested, and again, he can't be here with us, but essentially we've all seen technicians struggle. wheel size continues to increase. It's not uncommon for 20, 21, 22-inch wheels to be utilized on the majority of vehicles that we're working with now. And the neat thing about this tool is it will essentially allow the technician to use this as a lever and essentially roll the tire from the vehicle without having to pick it up or hurt their back or anything like that. It's cool.
So there's always a misconception about OEM tools being really expensive and just unobtainable. But something that's really cool is from Audi's Snap-on's portal website, you can buy these gap gauges, and these are plastic feeler gauges. They can be used to check the gaps against the OEM spec, the tolerances, really, show that the customer you're putting the car back in the spec. But they're, like I said, for $18, from Snap-on, from Volkswagen Audi's tool website, you really can't go wrong with it. You don't have to go searching for these because, even going on a tool truck, not all the tool guys carry these like feeler gauges that are meant for body panels. You don't damage the paint on the edges, if you're trying to, check and see what's going on there. And it's a great measuring device. I mean, just, every estimator or technician should really have one. For $18, you can't go wrong. And, being an OEM tool, it's pretty cool to have, OEM tools in your pocket or in your toolbox. And again, these are available to anyone to buy. So it's a pretty cool product in my opinion, and you don't see too many technicians using gap gauges, or instead you're using a wooden paint stick, something that looks pretty close enough. So I like them, and they're all marked with the right specs. Everything down from 4 millimeter, even going down to a millimeter and a quarter. So it gets pretty tight, in all the tight spaces.
And they photograph really well.
Yes.
For estimating purposes.
So if you're trying to document a vehicle, these are great because you can actually photograph them. And then if you're comparing against the OEM spec, it's great just to be able to, show exactly what the vehicle needs or, how to get them in spec. So nice little tool. I know of some other OEs that make them, and, I can tell you I haven't seen them for $17. And that's the thing is, at $17, there's really no reason why you shouldn't have, you should mass order them, and they sell out quick. I mean, every time you go on the website, they're usually out of stock. But I always suggest get the order in. The website's right there on the screen, and get that order in, and they will show up. And if you're an actual Audi certified shop, if you have a dealer code number, you do get an additional discount as well. So that's a benefit of being a certified shop, is you get a discount on all their tools. But again, these are available to the public. Really, if you do a lot of Audis or any vehicle, I mean, it's really nice to have that because every manufacturer has a tolerance and gap spec.
And if I may, these are something we use in our facility. Every technician, every blueprinter has these. And the thing that we've made a standard operating procedure in our shop is when the technicians reassemble the vehicle, they will actually take a picture of the gap gauge in various areas of the panels they're replacing in comparison to the opposite side of the vehicle to document they're both within the same specified gap. And the neat thing about it is they're color coded. So once we get used to knowing what these colors represent, we can very easily tell that what the techs are doing is what they should be doing. So.
Yep. And last thing, if you are looking for them, the part number when you go to the website is 3371. You can just search for it and they will show up on the website. The next one, the dreaded little Omega clip. Anyone have one flying around in their shop? Get them caught in the eye or something? Well, that's because they're using the wrong tool. When I went to an Audi training for the convertible top, Sean Hart is the one that showed us this tool. And to get these clips out that are usually left behind after you remove a trim panel, whether it's a rear sill trim, the pillar trims, these little metal clips, they're a pain in the butt to get out. And you always see a technician fighting with it. So Audi has designed this really cool tool. Part number is T40280. And the way it works is, and I just have a little sample, so you can slide the tool in right here, and without fear of that it's going to fly out, you can actually work it out and it doesn't fly anywhere. So it holds it in place, which is a pretty cool tool. And again, the conception is OEM tools are expensive, or they only use them on the factory assembly line, but we can get them here for $36. It's a no-brainer, especially if you work on a lot of Audis and Volkswagens, Porsches. I mean, you will see them. And there's some other manufacturers that have similar style clips, and they work on this. So awesome little tool. Like I said, it's for those little oval rounded holes. Holds a clip in place, and you can pull it out without it going flying. So, and you're not going to hurt yourself. So thank you.
So the last product is a Wieländer+Schill. It's an aluminum and steel putty called CBR. And this is a really great product for, it takes the place, or it replicates old lead repairs almost. You can use it on steel, you can use it on aluminum. The price point is, I want to say somewhere at around $150 a tube, but if you're looking to do a project that you want done right, and highly recommend this. We use this quite a bit. We order it through, I checked with our jobber, they couldn't get it. We're ordering it through Diamond in Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio. They do a lot of like aluminum and powders, and they actually do some 3D printing and imaging, a really cool company in Ohio. And they're somehow bringing this product in. We found out about this product through technicians in Europe that were on some of the same programs that my techs traveled with for training, and came back and were like, we've got to try this product. So we are using it on some of the higher end things, but even for like restoration on that type of thing, I would definitely recommend it if you're that type of shop.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, a shameless plug for the DEG, just to reinforce the fact, Amber, you said that it's an expensive product. It's a material that's used in repair process. Keep in mind, it's not included in the cost of materials, whether you use this kind of body filler, the spreaders and everything. So keep in mind, the cost of this product is not factored into any body repair time or into the panel replacement time if it requires it. So just keep that in mind.
Good point. You don't have to worry about like cross-contamination, and that's why like with the restoration stuff, or maybe some of the areas where, I mean, with aluminum, like at first we were really concerned about fillers and, what's in them and whatnot. I mean, this product doesn't seem to have any of those concerns tied to it. You can kind of just start to finish the job. And it does have, some of the aluminum powders, again, I don't do the work. I'd be lying to tell you I've tried the product, but from what I'm being told, from the feedback that I've received from the people that are doing it, and I see the final product, it has easier workability, I guess would be the word. Some of the powders and whatnot dry hard and are hard to work with after, and shape, and not become brittle or have to refeather out and whatnot. And this product doesn't seem to have those same concerns with it. So with that, I think we've concluded our presentation.